Rushmo at eibnet.us. And there are more sexual harassment revelations today. The NFL network and 3 players, including Marshall Faulk and Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor, number 24, cornerback for the Steelers, former, and Marshall Faulk, of course, for the St. Louis Rams. He played for a while for the Indianapolis Colts. And there's another player in there. Oh, yeah, McNabb is in there. That's right. How could Donovan McNabb is in there as identified as a harasser. It's a makeup artist that's alleging all of this abuse at the NFL network. We've got a Disney guy that has been forced out. Another one at NPR. It's just it's incredible. Somebody sent me today a clip. Do you remember? Oh, what's the name of the movie? It's a Cary Grant Doris Day movie. Something about the trouble with mink or touch of mink or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter what the title is. Somebody sent me a YouTube clip of it. And basically, it's Cary Grant Doris Day. And Cary Grant is a billionaire businessman, and she's the secretary. And he offers her, now she works for him. He offers her a whirlwind romance. Touch a Mink, that's what it is. Touch a Mink. Whirlwind. This is a 50s movie, 50s, maybe early 60s. I've seen it. I remember my parents let me go see this kind of stuff. My neighbor parents would not let their kids go see anything with Doris Day in it when we were single-digit age-wise. I told Doris Day once that. She got the biggest cackle out of it. At any rate, this billionaire businessman, Cary Grant, offers this secretary a whirlwind round-the-world romance while a building is being renovated and redecorated. And it's one of the most lavish, nobody would turn the trip down. And she says, wouldn't you just marry me instead? Could you just marry me? And he says, no. And he makes it clear this is a one-time thing. There's no love involved here, no romance. It's totally up to her. The point is that this exchange today would be sexual harassment. This exchange today would be sexual harassment, whereas many years ago it was standard operating procedure. Now, in the movie, Doris Day's not offended. She's not upset. The guy's not wielding any power over her. She doesn't have to go on the trip to keep her job. He's just looking for a good time with a good-looking babe for a little while and makes it clear it's nothing more than that for no longer than what it would take to do the trip. And she counters with the demand for a ring. And then he tells her, nope, not happening, not going to do it. I'm Cary Grant. I never get married in movies. Just wouldn't work. Image and all that. So it was a stark contrast because that kind of activity was common back then. This is not madmen behavior. Don't misunderstand. This is all sophisticated and above board with total honesty. But he was the boss. She was the secretary. And when you look at it, you realize that what is, in many cases, not all, but in many cases today, what's being called sexual harassment was normal, everyday interplay between men and women at one time. It was not considered harassment. It was considered seduction. It was considered dating. But, man, all of that's out the window, and the Democrats are leading the charge here in all of this. Well, no, I'm not saying that Donovan McNabb and Ike Taylor and Marshall Faulk are Democrats, but it's just, it's never ending no matter where you look. They may well be, for all I know. I don't know what their politics are. If they're at the NFL Network, the odds are they are liberal Democrat, but that's not the point. And so yesterday, 3 or 4 of the women who accused Trump of sexual misconduct resurfaced to demand that Congress investigate Trump's past. Now, this is all, to those of us paying attention, this is obviously a strategery, and it is a written policy somewhere, and all of these events are happening according to a timeline and plan. So they make Franken walk the plank, Weinstein's walk the plank, any number of other prominent Democrats are being told to walk the plank, and after enough of them have done so, then they go out and get the Trump babes. and they were on with Megyn Kelly. And I saw one interchange. One of the women claimed to be traumatized because Trump asked for her phone number. And Megyn Kelly dutifully said, "How did you feel when he asked for your phone number?" "Well, I was scared. I knew I had to give it to him, but I didn't want to give it to him, but I did. Oh my God, it was stress. I can't tell you. I didn't want to give him the number, but I knew I had to. So I did. How did you feel when he asked for your phone number?" As though such a thing is life-changing traumatic. And that's just one example. But the key here is that they are demanding that Congress investigate Trump's past. And they're also demanding that he resign the presidency. One of these Trump accusers, Samantha Holvey, said Monday that Trump ogled her and other Miss USA pageant contestants in their dressing room in 2006. Trump ogled them. He just stared at them in their dressing room. Did Trump own this pageant back then? He owned it at some point. I just don't know the date range. Imagine, my friends, ogling a beauty pageant contestant. I mean, that's beyond the pale. What kind of reprobate pervert ogles a beauty pageant contestant? I mean, it never happens before. Nobody ever does this. Everybody knows that nobody civilized ogles beauty pageant contestants, particularly during the swimsuit competition. It never happens. You know as well as I do, during the swimsuit competition of beauty pageants, the viewers are imagining the IQ and the intelligence of the women and are eagerly waiting for that section of the show where they get to show off how smart they are. Or they go to the bathroom. They do anything. They're not interested in the swimsuit portion, right? There's no ogling of beauty pageant contestants there. And Trump, as the owner of the pageant, obviously interested in putting the best face forward as often as he can on these kinds of things. You know, if this is true, if Trump was really ogling beauty pageant contestants, he should resign, go to re-education classes now. We've got to get this right. We can't have the president of the United States known as somebody who ogles beauty pageant contestants, can we? Who would ever think that ever happens? I was shocked when I heard this. I was literally stunned. You ever ogled a beauty pageant contestant? You have. Oh, by the way, you heard the latest. You know, while all the news on the terrorist was being uncovered and reported yesterday, you know what CNN was doing? Reporting on how many Diet Cokes a day Trump drinks. And they even got their in-house doctor, Sanjay Gupta, in there to explain how this can lead to dementia. I'm not kidding. You want to hear those bites? I've got them here. What order? Where did I put them? Let's start with audio soundbite number 13. The indefatigable Brooke Baldwin worried here about the Diet Coke consumption of Donald Trump. He's talking here with gastroenterologist Dr. Samantha Nazareth.
It's one thing to say 12 Diet Cokes. 12 Diet Cokes, right? If we're saying, according to the Times, that he drinks this many, what does this do to the brain and the body every day? What does 12 do to you?
12, what happens with 12 is that this essentially replaces what other liquids will provide to your body. So your body, as you know, is mainly water. A good majority of your body is water.
Really?
Your body needs water to survive, to do everything, to speak, to be on TV, everything. And by you drinking this, it's essentially replacing that area in your body. Not necessarily dehydrating, but it's replacing a liquid that you can take, which is water. You should be drinking water, not this.
Oh, jeez. Now, here we go with the parentalism. You should be drinking water, not these 12 Diet Cokes. It's replacing the other hydration that you would normally be drinking. And it's just, this is not good. It's very not good. But they don't tell us why. You just shouldn't do it. I know a guy who drinks 15 a day of the doubles, one of the giant gulp things. First thing he does, waking up in the morning before combing his hair, and then gets in the SUV and heads to the nearest, one of those massive gas station places, and gets a giant 72-ounce big gulp Diet Coke. And it's gone by the time he gets home. Drives home, he's sucking on the straw the whole time driving home. When he gets home, has to go back and get another one. You would think he just ordered 2 of the giant 72-ouncers. This guy goes so far beyond 12 Diet Cokes a day. But we're not through here. Brooke Baldwin continued the medical discussion. Remember, while this is happening, there is breaking news about the terror attack in New York. This is about 8:45 a.m. yesterday. And here we go, the continuation.
Is this doing anything super crazy harmful, or is it just me and I'm not getting enough water? Does this do anything to your bladder, your kidneys?
Not necessarily. The behaviors that are associated with drinking diet soda, people think that if I drink diet soda, can I have that piece of cake now? Can I be able to do all these other things?
Where do they find these guests?
If I had regular soda, maybe I have to stay away from all these sweets and everything else that may not be so healthy.
Where do they find these guests? I mean, this is a gastroenterologist. Look, I drink Diet Coke, but it's not so that I can have a piece of cake. I don't drink Diet Coke calculating calorie intake. I just happen to like it. And I have about 4 or 5 of them a day after the program. But this idea, and on the golf course. But this idea, this is so cliched. Yes, people think that they can have that cake now. Can I do all these other things? What if I had a regular soda? Maybe I have to stay away from all these sweets and everything else that may not be so healthy. These people, they can't have it both ways. They run around and tell us that sugar is going to kill us, that caffeine's going to kill us, that oat bran's going to kill us or alternately save us. I mean, every day it's some new health threat with a substance that's natural and normal that everybody consumes. And then a couple of weeks or a couple of years later, well, we were wrong. This actually is not bad for you. Caffeine may actually help prevent Parkinson's disease, they tell you. Anyway, after telling everybody to avoid sugar because of diabetes and calories and rotting teeth, then when people do it, they come along and claim that it's unhealthy. It's just not good, but they can't tell you why. So I guess Brooke Baldwin was not satisfied. CNN was not satisfied with the answers they got there from the gastroenterologist, Dr. Samantha Nazareth. And so last night, CNN called in Don Lemon, who then called in chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta about a report that Trump drinks 12 Diet Cokes a day. Don Lemon said, "What does that do to you?"
That's a lot of caffeine. We don't know if he takes other sources of caffeine. It causes a lot of irritability, insomnia. Sometimes you become more unfocused when you're drinking that much caffeine.
This is a study released this year. Researchers from Boston University School of Medicine found that people who drank 1 diet soda per day were 3 times as likely to be diagnosed with dementia or suffer from a stroke.
You tripled, actually, the risk of dementia and stroke linked to diet soda. Is there something about a diet drink, the aspartame, or something that's causing this problem? They don't know still. Could it be that people who are more at risk for stroke and dementia also drink diet soda?
They don't know. You don't know anything. You're just wildly speculating based on a premise that you think Trump is insane. And so now the Diet Cokes, you learned that he drinks 12 a day, so that makes you conclude that it's the Diet Cokes that are causing Trump to be insane because you've already accepted that Trump's insane. Now you think you've got a reason. And these are scientists. This is the same kind of thinking that gives us hoax-oriented global warming theory and climate change theory. I mean, you've tripled, actually, the risk of dementia and stroke linked to diet soda. And then in the next sentence, is there something about a diet drink that's causing the problem? We don't know. Well, if you don't know, it's kind of like if there hasn't been any proof that the Russians hacked anything, then how can you say Trump colluded with them? So if you believe that Diet Coke leads to dementia or stroke, but you don't know why, then how can you make the claim? By the way, how widespread is the claim that Diet Coke consumption causes dementia or stroke? Trump is 71 years old, and he's healthier than most of the people covering him. He's got more energy than most of the people covering him. He's got more mental acuity. He's more intelligent. He knows more. He simply has absorbed more knowledge than most of those covering him. And jacked up on caffeine. I don't know. Look, you know, the caffeine content of Diet Coke, I can't. Everything's personal. I can't attest to you. Caffeine doesn't affect me at all. If it does, I'm not aware of it. So nothing I do because of the caffeine hit is based on it. There isn't one as far as I know. So this is the kind of stuff, folks, this is kind of irresponsibility could lead to Diet Coke being taken off the market. I mean, these people are so crazy that if they want to use Diet Coke and 12 cans of it a day to prove that Trump has got dementia, is going to have dementia, going to get dementia, going to have a stroke, or has had a stroke, then that's how they would lead to getting Diet Coke off the market. And it would all be to further establish the connection to Trump's insanity and dementia and whatever else they claim he is to his Diet Coke consumption. Did CNN ever do any stories on how much damage to the brain smoking a few joints a day as a teenager or college student could do? We know that Obama was part of a chum gang, churn whatever, smoked marijuana with his buddies. There have been reports that he's gone back to it since leaving the Oval Office. Does CNN ever do any stories on the consumption of joints and marijuana? Of course not, because if Obama does it, it's wonderful. If Obama does it, it's great. If Obama does it, no harm can come from it. Was Senator Pocahontas, CNN breaking news, Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren has accused Trump of slut-shaming and making a commitment.
There have now been 2 terrorist attacks in New York City in recent weeks carried out by foreign nationals here on green cards. The first attacker came through the visa lottery, and the second through chain migration. We're going to end both of them. The lottery system and chain migration. We're going to end them fast. Congress must get involved immediately, and they are involved immediately, and I can tell you we have tremendous support. They will be ended.
Now, that Visa lottery system, don't forget, that is a system whereby people who do not particularly want to come to America are brought here. It's one of the most convoluted things. And look, a couple of minor corrections. Doris Day did not work for Cary Grant in this stupid movie, A Touch of Mink. The trip was to Bermuda, and they got married at the end of it. So, if she didn't work for him, then I don't get what the comparison to sexual harassment is. If she just worked in the secretarial pool but not for him, then I don't know why people are analogizing it to sexual harassment. Sexual harassment's all about powerful men threatening horrible things to women who don't comply. Anyway, we have a break coming up here, but I need to keep going on this Democrat strategy because, folks, it's amazing. They're willing. They're not just willing, they're doing it. They are throwing a lot of Democrat elected officials and others overboard on sexual harassment allegations, and it's clear why. Trump's the target next, which means, I guess, the Russian collusion thing ain't working out the way they had planned. Hang on. Till Trump is forced out, the Democrats looks like they're going to allow each other Democrat men accused of sexual misconduct to have been fired. And the reason for this is that as soon as any leftist organization, a Democrat party, you name it, as soon as they give a pass to a man accused of sexual misconduct, their strategy crumbles. That's why whenever a Democrat today is accused of sexual harassment, he's gone. They're jumping on him. They're pressuring him to leave, to resign, or what have you, because this is how they are going to moralize, occupy the moral high ground to force Trump out. Now, these 4 women that have alleged sexual harassment by Trump came forward yesterday demanding congressional investigations. But the thing about the Democrats here is they're not out to protect women. This is not about protecting women. It's not about loving women. It's not about saving them. It is about them gunning for Trump. And if this keeps up, this is going to be a long, rough ride for a bunch of these phony male feminists. You know, all these Hollywood guys who've claimed to be pro-choice, pro-feminist, also Hollywood women would embrace them and let them in and be close. Guys are always going to do what they think they have to do to get where they want to go with women. And if you got to be pro-choice, if you got to be pro-feminist, you got to love the now gang, then that's what Hollywood men are going to do. I wonder how many Hollywood men really don't care one way or the other about pro-life or pro-choice. I wonder how many Hollywood men may actually be pro-life, but they don't dare say so. I wonder how much genuine phoniness there is in this issue. Because, folks, this is it's an amazing thing to watch. Look at this. I have a story here from the AP. Me Too spotlight increasingly pointed at past Trump conduct. And so we now see the realization of what we have been predicting for months, ever since the Weinstein stuff hit the fan. We have known, I have made it clear what I think is going to happen here. This is the latest effort they're making to get rid of Trump. And here's AP's story. Donald Trump sailed past a raft of allegations of sexual misconduct in last year's presidential election. 11th hour accusations that were presented